Marcus lived alone on the quiet colony of Virilia. The planet was far from Earth, with skies painted in soft purples and pinks during sunrise. Its twin suns gave warmth, but the nights were long and lonely. Marcus had chosen this life to escape the crowded cities of Earth, hoping the peace of a remote planet would heal the emptiness inside him. His home was a small stone house surrounded by a garden where he grew vegetables and herbs. Marcus loved the smell of fresh soil and the sight of green leaves reaching toward the sky. Yet, even in this peaceful place, he felt an emptiness that no sunrise could fill. Since his wife had passed, the house had been too quiet, and the days too long. Marcus cooked simple meals for himself. He liked his routines, but even cooking had begun to feel lonely. Stirring pots and chopping vegetables was a task he performed without joy. He missed the laughter that once filled his kitchen, the playful teasing about who would wash the dishes, the shared stories at dinner. He had thought he could live alone, but the silence reminded him of all that was lost. One morning, Marcus sat at his wooden table, sipping his morning tea. He looked out at the garden, noticing the fresh shoots of carrots and the bright green leaves of his lettuce. The thought came to him that a cook might make life brighter. Not just for meals, but for company, for conversation, for someone to share this quiet life with. He opened the colony's communication network and posted a simple message, looking for a cook. Must be skilled and reliable. Will provide food and shelter. He hesitated for a moment, unsure if anyone would respond. Then he pressed send, hoping for a friendly face, someone to bring warmth into his home. Days passed without a response. Marcus continued his routines, watering his plants and repairing tools, but he felt a small spark of hope each morning when he checked the network. Then, one evening, a message arrived. The message was short: I can come. I am called Serena. I wish to cook for you. Marcus blinked. The name was unfamiliar, and something about it felt strange, almost musical. He hesitated before replying, asking for more details. Serena answered quickly, explaining that she had traveled from another part of the galaxy. She described herself as experienced in cooking and eager to learn more about humans. The next morning, a small shuttle landed near Marcus's home. He had not expected anyone to arrive so quickly. The ramp lowered, and there she stood. Serena was unlike anyone Marcus had ever seen. Her skin had a soft, light shimmer, and her eyes were bright with curiosity. Her hair moved gently as if it had its own life, and her hands were delicate yet strong. Marcus felt a mix of surprise and caution. He welcomed her inside, trying to hide his nervousness. Serena spoke with a soft, melodic voice, asking questions about the house and the garden. Marcus explained his routines, the meals he cooked, and the simple life he led. She listened carefully, nodding as if every word was important. In the kitchen, Serena began her work. Marcus watched her move with grace, chopping vegetables and stirring sauces. Her skill was evident, and the aroma of the food quickly filled the house. Marcus felt a warmth in his chest, a feeling he had not experienced in years. This was more than cooking. This was care, attention, and dedication. Serena asked Marcus about his favorite dishes, and he explained with some embarrassment. He had simple tastes, but he had always loved food that reminded him of home. She listened and then adapted, mixing flavors in ways he had never imagined. When the first meal was ready, Marcus sat down with a sense of anticipation. The taste was perfect, balanced and full of life. They ate together in silence for a few minutes. Then, Serena spoke, asking Marcus about his life, his memories and the things that made him happy. At first, he was hesitant. Talking about his past brought a mix of pain and comfort. Yet, Serena's presence made it easier. She asked with genuine interest, never judging, never rushing. Marcus found himself smiling, a small but honest smile. He told her about his wife, about the garden they had planted together, and about the simple joys of daily life. Serena listened, nodding, and asking questions that made him think about memories he had almost forgotten. For the first time in years, Marcus felt he was not alone. After the meal, Serena helped him clean the dishes. They worked together, moving in harmony around the small kitchen. Marcus noticed small things about her, the way she hummed softly while washing, the care she took with every plate, the way her eyes sparkled with curiosity. He felt a strange sense of comfort and admiration. That evening, Marcus sat on his porch, looking at the twin moons rising over the horizon. Serena joined him, carrying a small tray of fresh tea. They sat together, watching the sky change colors. Marcus realized that life with Serena might be different from what he had imagined. She was not just a cook. She was someone who brought warmth, curiosity, and care into his quiet life. As the night grew darker, Marcus felt hope stirring inside him. The loneliness that had weighed on his shoulders for years seemed lighter. He knew that Serena's arrival was only the beginning. Life on Viralia might be quiet, but it no longer had to be lonely. In the soft glow of the moons, Marcus felt something he had thought was lost forever, a connection. A friendship that might grow into something more. He did not know the future, but he felt ready to face it. For the first time in years, he looked forward to tomorrow. The next morning, Marcus woke to the soft light of Viralia's twin suns spilling into his kitchen. The air smelled fresh with the scent of herbs from his garden. He had slept better than he had in months, and a small sense of excitement stirred inside him. Today would be another day with Serena, the alien woman who had come to cook for him. As he stepped into the kitchen, he saw her already at work. She moved with ease, her hands slicing vegetables and stirring pots in perfect rhythm. Even in the simple motions of cooking, there was something captivating about her. Marcus realized that he had never watched anyone cook with such focus and care. "Good morning, Marcus," Serena said, her voice soft and musical. "I prepared something special today. I hope you will like it." Marcus smiled. "Good morning, Serena. I am sure it will be wonderful." The two worked together, Marcus helping where he could. He chopped some vegetables while she prepared sauces. As they worked, Serena asked questions about human food. "Why do you add these spices?" she asked, holding a small jar of dried leaves. "They add flavor," Marcus explained. "But also, they can remind us of home or special moments." Serena nodded, intrigued. "I want to understand. Tell me about these memories." Marcus hesitated at first. Sharing memories had always been difficult, but Serena's curiosity seemed gentle and sincere. He began telling her about his wife, about how she loved simple meals and the joy she found in small things like freshly baked bread or warm soup. Serena listened carefully, never interrupting, her eyes full of interest. When the meal was ready, they sat together at the small wooden table. The food smelled amazing, and Marcus felt his appetite grow. Each bite was a revelation. Serena had not only learned how humans liked their food but had added her own touch, creating flavors that Marcus had never experienced. "This is incredible," Marcus said, smiling. "You have a special gift for cooking." Serena tilted her head slightly, a faint smile on her lips. I enjoy bringing happiness with food. But I also wish to learn about humans. You make it easier. The conversation flowed naturally. Marcus found himself telling her small details about his life on Viralia, his routines, and the simple pleasures he enjoyed. Serena shared stories from her planet, about landscapes that glowed in colors humans could not imagine and creatures that moved in ways that seemed impossible. Marcus listened, fascinated. After the meal, Marcus decided to show Serena the garden. The morning sunlight made the leaves glisten, and the air smelled of earth and growth. Serena touched the plants gently, examining the leaves and flowers. "Everything here feels alive," she said. "I have never seen a garden like this." Marcus explained how he tended the plants daily, planting seeds, watering, and making sure they were healthy. Serena watched carefully, asking questions and offering suggestions. Together, they worked in the garden, planting new seeds and watering the vegetables. Marcus felt a warmth in his chest. Having her here made even the simple work feel joyful. As the day went on, Marcus realized that Serena was more than a cook. She seemed to understand what he needed without him saying it. She kept the house tidy, prepared meals that lifted his spirits, and even reminded him to take care of himself when he became lost in work. By afternoon, they had completed the garden chores, and Marcus suggested a walk outside the homestead. The air was crisp, and the soft wind carried the scent of wildflowers. They walked together, sharing stories of their past and dreams for the future. Marcus spoke about his wish to make Viralia a home full of life and comfort. Serena shared her hope of learning about humans and their ways, so she could understand more than just cooking. Marcus felt a bond forming between them. Her presence was calming, yet it sparked curiosity and energy in him. He realized he had not felt this alive in years. Serena's fascination with the world around her reminded him to notice small wonders he had overlooked. As evening approached, they returned to the house. Marcus prepared a simple tea, and Serena helped him arrange the cups. They sat by the window, watching the twin moons rise over the horizon. The sky changed from purple to deep blue, dotted with stars that seemed close enough to touch. Serena spoke softly, almost as if thinking aloud. "Humans have so many emotions. You feel joy, sadness, hope, and worry. It is different from my people. We experience things in ways that are not always visible. I find it fascinating." Marcus nodded. "Emotions can be hard, but they also make life meaningful. They connect us to others." She looked at him with curiosity. "You have felt loss, yet you continue to care, to hope, to live. That is admirable." Marcus felt a strange mixture of pride and humility. He had thought of himself as lonely and weak, yet in her eyes, he saw respect and admiration. He realized that Serena had a way of making him see the best in himself. That night, as Marcus prepared for bed, he thought about the day. The house felt warmer, fuller, and more alive than it had in years. Serena had not only cooked for him but had brought joy, curiosity, and companionship into his life. He understood that life with her would be different from what he had imagined, yet he felt ready to embrace it. He looked out the window one last time at the moons shining over the garden. For the first time in a long time, Marcus felt hope. Hope that the loneliness he had carried for years could end. Hope that a new beginning was possible. Hope that life, even on a distant planet, could be full of friendship, discovery, and care. With Serena by his side, Marcus realized that the quiet days of Viralia could become moments of joy, learning, and connection. And as he closed his eyes to sleep, he knew that tomorrow would bring more adventures, more stories, and more chances to grow alongside the alien woman who had changed his life with nothing more than kindness, curiosity, and her presence. The days on Viralaya passed gently, and Marcus began to feel a rhythm returning to his life. Each morning, the twin suns rose over the horizon, casting soft light on his garden. With Serena by his side, even the smallest task seemed brighter. Marcus noticed how Serena observed everything around her. She asked questions about the plants, the soil, and even the insects that visited the garden. Her curiosity was endless, and Marcus found himself explaining things he had never thought to share. He talked about which vegetables grew best in different seasons, how to water the soil without washing away the seeds, and how the small insects help the garden thrive. Serena listened carefully, touching leaves gently and nodding as if absorbing every detail. One morning, Marcus decided to teach her how to make his favorite bread. He showed her how to mix the ingredients, knead the dough, and let it rise. Serena watched intently, occasionally tilting her head or asking a question. When it was her turn to knead, she did so with care and focus. The dough seemed to respond to her touch, rising smoothly and evenly. Marcus laughed softly. "You have a natural talent," he said. Serena smiled, her eyes reflecting pride and joy. As the bread baked, Marcus and Serena sat by the window, sipping tea. Marcus spoke about his life before coming to Viralaya. He told her about his childhood, the friends he had, and the dreams he once held. Serena listened, her gaze steady and kind. She asked about his wife, gently encouraging him to share memories that had remained tucked away for years. Marcus found comfort in telling her stories he had never spoken aloud. Serena shared stories of her home planet as well. She described glowing forests, rivers that shimmered in colors humans could not imagine, and creatures that communicated without words. Marcus listened, fascinated. He realized how little he knew about the universe, and he felt grateful to learn from her. The exchange of stories became a daily ritual. Each day, they shared knowledge, laughter, and insights that deepened their understanding of each other. One afternoon, Marcus noticed Serena watching the sky with a thoughtful expression. "What are you thinking?" he asked. Serena tilted her head. "I am thinking about humans and your emotions. You experience so much in a single day. Happiness, sadness, worry, hope. It is unlike my people. I want to understand more." Marcus smiled. "Emotions are complicated. They can hurt, but they also make life meaningful. They help us connect to others." Serena nodded slowly. "I see that in you. Even after loss, you continue to care, to nurture, to live fully. That is admirable." Marcus felt warmth at her words. He had often thought of himself as lonely and weak, yet in Serena's eyes, he felt respect and admiration. Her presence made him feel capable, strong, and valued. As the days continued, Marcus introduced Serena to more of his routines. They repaired tools together, tended to the garden, and prepared meals. Sometimes they worked in silence, other times they laughed over small mistakes. Marcus found that her company made the simple tasks enjoyable. He looked forward to mornings when she would be waiting in the kitchen or evenings when they could sit together under the twin moons. Serena learned quickly, but she also brought new ideas. She suggested planting certain vegetables in combinations that improved the soil. She created sauces and dishes inspired by her own world, which Marcus found delicious and surprising. He realized that he was learning from her just as much as she was learning from him. One evening, while they sat by the garden, Marcus asked, Do you ever feel lonely, Serena? She considered the question. I did when I traveled here alone. But being with you, I feel curiosity and connection. It is different from loneliness. Marcus nodded. I feel the same. Before you arrived, the days were quiet and heavy. Now, even small moments feel meaningful. Serena reached out and touched a leaf, letting her fingers trace the veins gently. I like that we can share. It is rare to find someone willing to teach and learn together. Marcus felt a deep sense of appreciation. He realized that Serena's presence was changing his life in ways he had not expected. It was not just about having a cook or someone to talk to. She was opening his heart, helping him see that life could still be full of discovery, care, and connection. One day, while they worked in the garden, Marcus noticed a small sprout struggling to grow. He bent down to examine it. This one needs more care, he said. Serena knelt beside him, studying the plant. Together, they adjusted the soil and watered it carefully. Marcus smiled as he watched the sprout straighten and grow stronger. Sometimes, life is like this, he said. It needs attention and patience to thrive. Serena nodded. And guidance. And care. Just like people. Marcus looked at her, realizing the truth of her words. Their bond was growing stronger because of shared effort, understanding, and care. Each day, they nurtured not only the garden but also a friendship built on trust and respect. By nightfall, the air was cool and the stars twinkled over the horizon. Marcus and Serena sat together outside, the soft light of the moons reflecting in their eyes. Marcus felt a quiet joy he had not known in years. Life on Viralaya, once lonely and routine, was becoming an adventure filled with learning, laughter, and the warmth of companionship. Serena spoke softly, I am grateful to be here. I feel that I am learning more about humans, but also about myself. Life is richer with connection. Marcus smiled, feeling a sense of hope. I feel the same. You have brought more than your skill in cooking. You have brought joy, curiosity, and friendship. As they watched the moons rise, Marcus knew that this was only the beginning. With Serena by his side, he felt ready to face the days ahead, knowing that even in a quiet, remote place, life could be full of meaning, learning, and companionship. The days on Viralaya had grown brighter for Marcus. The mornings were filled with the smell of fresh bread and the songs of alien birds, and the evenings glowed softly under the twin moons. Yet, life on this distant planet was not without its challenges. Marcus had learned that Viralaya could be unpredictable, with sudden storms, shifting winds, and occasional wild creatures roaming near the settlements. One morning, Marcus awoke to a warning siren from the colony's communication network. He rushed to the window and saw dark clouds gathering on the horizon. The wind had picked up, moving swiftly across the fields and the distant mountains. Storms on Viralaya were rare but dangerous, capable of damaging crops and structures. Marcus turned to Serena, who was already at the kitchen counter preparing breakfast. Serena, the weather is changing fast. We may need to secure the house and the garden. Serena nodded, her calm expression hiding a hint of concern. I will help. Show me what needs to be done. Together, they moved quickly. Marcus tied down loose tools and reinforced the garden fences, while Serena carried baskets of vegetables and covered the delicate plants with protective cloth. Her movements were precise and strong, and Marcus noticed how effortlessly she adjusted to the work, even faster than he could manage. As the storm drew nearer, the wind howled and the skies darkened. Lightning flashed in strange colors across the horizon. Marcus felt a surge of worry for his home and his small garden, the place that had become his sanctuary. Serena stood beside him, her eyes steady and focused. She offered suggestions on how to protect the crops from the heavy rain and even helped reinforce the roof of the house. "You are strong," Marcus said as they worked. "I did not expect anyone to manage so well in these conditions." Serena smiled faintly. "I have learned to adapt. But I also want to help you. This home, this life, matters." The storm hit with sudden force. Rain pelted the windows, and the wind shook the walls. Marcus and Serena moved quickly to ensure the house was secure. Marcus felt his heart racing, but Serena's calm presence gave him strength. Together, they made it through the worst of the storm. After the rain slowed, they inspected the garden. A few plants were bent, and some soil had washed away, but the majority of the crops were safe. Marcus breathed a sigh of relief. "We managed. Thanks to you, Serena." She looked at him with gentle eyes. "We worked together. That is why we succeeded." That evening, Marcus prepared a simple meal, and Serena joined him in the kitchen. She had brought a new energy to his life, and Marcus realized that he relied on her more than he had expected. Not just for help with chores, but for courage, companionship, and understanding. As they ate, Marcus thought about the day. The storm had been a reminder that life on Viralia required strength, adaptation, and teamwork. Serena had shown him that challenges could be faced with calm and care. Her presence made even the most difficult situations feel manageable. In the following days, Marcus and Serena continued to strengthen their bond. They explored more of the surrounding area, learning about local plants and small creatures. Serena's curiosity never faded. She examined everything carefully, asking questions and learning about human customs, while Marcus learned from her experience and knowledge of survival. One afternoon, Marcus took Serena to a small ridge overlooking the valley. "I want to show you the best view of Viralia," he said. The valley stretched wide, covered with green forests and sparkling rivers. The twin suns cast long shadows across the land, and the clouds drifted lazily above. Serena's eyes widened. "It is beautiful. I have never seen a place like this." Marcus smiled. "It is my home now. I want you to see it, to understand why I stay here." She nodded, taking in the view. "I can see why. It feels alive. Peaceful. Full of possibilities." As they stood together, Marcus felt a quiet sense of pride. His life, once lonely and simple, was growing richer. With Serena by his side, he felt capable of handling anything. The challenges of Viralia no longer seemed threatening, they were opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. However, life on this planet was not without its tests. One evening, a distant growl echoed from the forest near the edge of the colony. Marcus froze, recognizing it as a predator native to Viralia. Its appearance was rare, and its behavior unpredictable. Serena noticed his concern. "We should prepare," she said calmly. "We will be careful and protect the home." Together, they set small defenses and cleared the area around the house. Marcus admired Serena's courage. She did not fear the unknown, and her calmness steadied him. When the creature appeared at the edge of the forest, it paused, sensing the humans and their presence. Serena stood firmly, guiding Marcus to safety, and the creature eventually retreated. Marcus realized how much he had come to rely on Serena's judgment and strength. Life on Viralia could be unpredictable, but together they were capable. He felt a renewed sense of gratitude and trust. That night, They sat on the porch, drinking warm tea and listening to the soft sounds of the forest. Marcus spoke softly, "I have lived here alone for so long. I thought I could manage everything by myself. But now I see that sharing life, facing challenges together, makes it better." Serena smiled. "That is why I came here. Not just to cook, but to learn, to connect, and to help. Together, you are stronger, and so am I." Marcus nodded. For the first time in years, he felt truly alive. He realized that life on Viralia, even with storms, predators, and challenges, could be full of joy and growth. With Serena beside him, he no longer feared the difficulties of life. As the twin moons rose over the horizon, Marcus and Serena sat quietly, watching the soft light touch the garden. He felt hope and confidence. The challenges of Viralia were no longer burdens, they were opportunities to learn, to work together, and to build a life that was meaningful. In the quiet night, Marcus knew that Serena had changed more than his meals. She had brought strength, courage, and companionship. And with her, he was ready to face whatever the planet had to offer. The soft light of Viralia's twin suns filled the kitchen as Marcus prepared breakfast. The air smelled of fresh bread and herbs, and for the first time in a long while, Marcus felt calm and content. Serena moved beside him, chopping vegetables with precision and care. "Marcus," she said, her voice gentle, "I want to know more about your dreams. What do you hope for?" Marcus paused, wiping his hands on his apron. He had not spoken of his dreams in years. His life had become routine, filled with work and small comforts, but the idea of hope had faded with the loss of his wife. Yet Serena's curiosity made him feel safe. He nodded slowly. "I hope to see this place thrive," he said. "I want the garden to grow, the home to feel alive, and the days to be full of purpose. I never imagined sharing it with anyone, but now I hope for companionship as well." Serena listened carefully, tilting her head. "That is a good dream. It is strong and steady. You care for life itself. That is admirable." Marcus smiled. "And you, Serena? What do you hope for?" She paused, her eyes focused on the rising sun. "I want to understand humans fully. Your emotions, your daily lives, your ways of connecting. I wish to experience life as you do, to learn and share." Their breakfast continued in a calm, shared silence, each lost in thought. Marcus felt a warmth inside him, a sense of connection that had been missing for years. Serena's presence brought more than companionship, it brought understanding, curiosity, and the feeling that life could still hold joy. After breakfast, Marcus suggested a walk through the nearby valley. The soft winds carried the scent of wildflowers, and the sun's light danced across the hills. They walked side by side, speaking of small things at first glance, the colors of the sky, and the shapes of clouds. As they reached a small hill overlooking the valley, Marcus sat down and gestured for Serena to join him. The view stretched wide, green forests meeting rivers that shimmered in the sunlight. Twin moons glowed faintly in the distance, hinting at the night to come. "I used to come here alone," Marcus said softly. "It was quiet, peaceful, but also lonely. Now, with you, it feels different. Alive." Serena nodded, her eyes reflecting the sunlight. "I see. You find strength in connection. That is important. Even small interactions make life richer." Marcus smiled. "You have brought more than curiosity and skill. You have brought companionship and hope. I feel alive again." They sat in silence for a few moments, simply enjoying the view. The wind rustled through the grass, and the quiet sounds of the valley surrounded them. Marcus realized that he could share his thoughts and fears with Serena without hesitation. She listened with patience, offering insight without judgment. "I wonder," Marcus said after a while, "if life is always meant to be shared. I thought I could live alone, but the days felt empty. Now, even simple moments seem meaningful." Serena looked at him thoughtfully. "Humans have emotions that connect you to each other. You feel joy, sadness, hope, and care. Sharing these feelings makes life stronger. You understand that now." Marcus felt a deep sense of gratitude. Serena's presence reminded him that life was more than routine. It was about discovery, growth, and connection. With her, he felt that even the smallest moments could be extraordinary. As they walked back to the homestead, Marcus suggested they plant new crops together. "I want this garden to grow more than ever," he said. "And I want us to do it together." Serena smiled. "I would like that. Working together will help both the garden and our understanding of each other." The rest of the afternoon was spent planting seeds, adjusting soil, and watering the young shoots. Marcus explained how certain plants thrived when grown near others, and Serena offered suggestions from her own experiences on her planet. The collaboration was effortless, filled with laughter, learning, and mutual respect. By evening, the garden looked healthier and more vibrant than it had in weeks. Marcus admired the results, but he knew the true value lay in the shared effort. Serena had become more than a helper or companion, she had become a partner in life, someone who inspired him and made him see the world differently. As night fell, the twin moons rose, casting silver light over the garden. Marcus and Serena sat on the porch, sipping tea and watching the stars. The air was cool, and the sounds of the distant forest created a peaceful symphony. "I feel that life has more meaning now," Marcus said quietly. "With you, I can see possibilities I had forgotten." Serena nodded. "Connection gives purpose. Learning from each other, caring for each other, creates strength. That is why I came here." Marcus looked at her, feeling a warmth he could not describe. "I am glad you did. I feel alive, not just because of your presence, but because of your curiosity, your care, and the way you make life feel important again." Serena smiled softly. "And I am glad to be here. I learn, I share, and I connect. Life is richer because of these moments." The night grew quieter, and Marcus felt a sense of peace he had not known in years. The stars above Viralia seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the hope and connection he felt within. He realized that dreams were not only for the future, they could be shared, nurtured, and experienced in the present. With Serena by his side, Marcus knew that life on Viralia could be full of wonder, growth, and companionship. The challenges of the planet, the work in the garden, and the quiet nights under the moons were no longer burdens. They were opportunities to live fully, to learn, and to share dreams with someone who understood and cared. That night, as Marcus lay in bed, he thought about the day. He had shared his hopes, listened to Serena's dreams, and felt a connection deeper than he had imagined possible. For the first time in a long while, he believed that life could be meaningful, joyful, and full of companionship. He closed his eyes, feeling gratitude for the alien woman who had come to cook, yet had brought so much more. With her presence, he felt ready for the days ahead, the storms, the challenges, and the quiet moments alike. Life on Viralia was no longer lonely. It was alive, shared, and full of hope. The morning on Viralia began quietly, with the soft glow of the twin suns reflecting off the distant mountains. Marcus and Serena had grown accustomed to their daily routines, working together in the garden, preparing meals, and sharing stories. Life felt balanced, yet the planet was full of surprises, and they knew that peace could shift quickly. Marcus had gone to a nearby valley to gather some rare herbs for the evening meal. The air was fresh, and the sun's warmth on his back made him feel content. He thought about Serena and how much she had changed his life. He carried the basket of herbs carefully, enjoying the calm morning. Back at the homestead, Serena tended the garden and checked on the plants. Her movements were precise and careful, her attention to detail helping the garden thrive. She hummed softly, a sound that made the small house feel alive. Suddenly, her ears twitched at a distant sound, faint but distinct. A low growl echoed from the forest near the edge of their property. Serena's eyes narrowed as she listened. The sound was unusual and carried a dangerous tone. Viralia was home to many creatures, but this one was unfamiliar and clearly a predator. Her first thought was for Marcus. He was still out in the valley and unaware of the potential danger. Quickly, Serena gathered a few tools and secured the perimeter of the homestead. She moved with grace and speed, checking the fences, making sure nothing could harm the garden or the house. Her heart beat steadily, but her focus never wavered. She knew Marcus's safety depended on her actions. Meanwhile, Marcus had returned with the basket of herbs. He noticed the wind had shifted, carrying a strange scent. The growl grew louder as he approached the homestead. He saw Serena moving calmly, her posture confident, as she inspected the fences. "What is happening?" Marcus asked, concern in his voice. Serena pointed toward the edge of the forest. "A predator is near. We must protect the home. Stay close to me." Marcus felt a surge of fear but also a strange sense of trust. Serena had proven herself in difficult situations before, and he knew she could handle this challenge. Together, they moved through the property, checking all areas and preparing simple defenses. The creature appeared, a large predator with sharp claws and glowing eyes. It prowled near the edge of the forest, sniffing the air. Marcus froze, unsure of what to do. Serena stood firmly beside him, her eyes focused, her body ready to act. "Stay calm," she said softly. "We will not panic. It senses caution. That will keep it from attacking." Marcus nodded, holding his breath. He watched as Serena guided him toward a safer spot. The predator advanced slowly, but Serena's calm confidence made it hesitate. She had learned to understand the creatures of Viralia, reading their movements and intentions. The predator growled again, closer this time. Marcus's heart raced, but he followed Serena's instructions carefully. She moved with precision, placing small barriers and making gestures that seemed to communicate caution to the creature. Slowly, it began to retreat toward the forest, sensing that the humans were alert and prepared. Marcus exhaled in relief as the predator disappeared into the trees. He turned to Serena, awe and gratitude in his eyes. "You were incredible," he said. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Serena smiled faintly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "We worked together. That is why it left. Courage and calmness protect more than strength alone." Marcus felt a deep sense of admiration. Serena's courage and intelligence had saved them. He realized how much he relied on her presence, not only for help with chores but for guidance, protection, and trust. That evening, they shared a quiet meal. Marcus prepared simple dishes, and Serena added her unique touch, making the flavors richer and more comforting. The danger of the day had passed, but the experience left a lasting impression on Marcus. He saw Serena not just as a companion or a cook, but as someone brave, thoughtful, and capable. "I never thought I could feel this safe," Marcus said softly. "You have a way of making the impossible seem manageable." Serena looked at him with gentle eyes. "We protect each other. That is why life is stronger when shared. Courage comes from connection, not alone." Marcus nodded, feeling a sense of peace and gratitude. Life on Viralaya could be unpredictable, but with Serena by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges came their way. Her presence brought confidence, calm, and hope. The following days were filled with reflection and quiet work. Marcus and Serena repaired fences, strengthened the garden, and checked their home for potential risks. They worked together seamlessly, communicating with gestures, words, and understanding. Each action strengthened the bond between them. One morning, as they rested in the garden, Marcus spoke softly. "Serena, I realize today how much I depend on you. Not just for work, but for courage and care. You have changed my life." Serena smiled, her eyes reflecting sincerity. "And you have changed mine, Marcus. You have shown me patience, kindness, and the value of understanding. Together, we are stronger." They sat in silence, watching the sunlight dance on the leaves. Marcus felt hope stirring inside him. Life on Viralaya was unpredictable, but he was no longer afraid. The challenges they faced together made him feel alive, capable, and connected. That night, under the glow of the twin moons, Marcus realized that Serena had become more than a presence in his home. She had become a partner, a protector, and a source of inspiration. The quiet evenings, the shared meals, and the challenges they had overcome together had strengthened their bond in ways he had never imagined. As Marcus lay in bed, he reflected on the day's events. He understood that true strength was not only in facing challenges alone but in trusting and relying on someone who cared. Serena had shown him that courage, patience, and connection could overcome fear. With Serena by his side, Marcus knew that life on Viralaya was full of possibilities. Storms, predators, and unknown dangers no longer seemed threatening. They were opportunities to learn, grow, and face the world together. And as he closed his eyes to sleep, Marcus felt a deep sense of gratitude. The alien woman who had come to cook had become a companion, a teacher, and a friend. With her presence, he was ready to embrace life fully, with courage, hope, and connection guiding his way. The first light of Viralaya's twin suns spilled over the mountains, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds. Marcus stood at the edge of the garden, breathing in the fresh morning air. The days had grown brighter since Serena arrived, and he could not imagine life without her. She had become more than a companion, she was his partner, his friend, and his source of joy. Serena joined him quietly, carrying a basket of fresh herbs. Her soft smile reflected the morning light, and Marcus felt warmth spread through him. "Good morning, Marcus," she said. "The garden looks ready for today." Marcus nodded. "Yes, it is thriving. And so are we." They began their day as they often did, tending to the garden together. Marcus showed Serena how to check the soil for moisture, while she suggested planting new seeds in areas that had received more sunlight. Their movements were in harmony, the years of solitude and struggle replaced by shared effort and understanding. As they worked, Marcus realized how much he had learned from Serena. She taught him to see life differently, to notice the small wonders of the world, and to approach challenges with patience and confidence. He, in turn, had taught her about human ways, traditions, and the delicate balance of life on Viralaya. Together, they had become a team. After finishing the garden, Marcus suggested they take a walk to the nearby ridge. The view overlooked the valley, the rivers glinting like silver threads under the sunlight. Marcus and Serena sat side by side, enjoying the quiet peace of the morning. "I never imagined life could be like this," Marcus said softly. "I thought loneliness would always be my companion. But now, I feel full of hope and purpose." Serena turned to him. "You allowed connection and care to enter your life. That is why things have changed. Life becomes richer when shared." Marcus smiled. "You have brought so much into my life. Not just your skill, but your presence, your courage, and your kindness. You have changed everything." Serena's eyes reflected the sunlight. "And you have changed me. You taught me patience, understanding, and the value of small moments. Together, we are stronger and happier." As the day passed, they prepared a meal together, enjoying the fruits of their garden. Serena's cooking blended flavors from her world with the simple tastes of Marcus's past, creating dishes that were both new and familiar. They laughed as they worked, sharing small jokes and stories. Marcus felt a sense of contentment he had not known in years. In the afternoon, Marcus suggested they explore a part of the valley they had not visited before. Walking among the rolling hills, they discovered new plants, streams, and even small creatures that moved quietly through the undergrowth. Serena observed everything with fascination, and Marcus explained the ways of Viralaya, how each plant and creature contributed to the ecosystem. "This place has so much life," Serena said. "It feels like it has a spirit. I can see why you love it so much." Marcus smiled. "It is home. And now, it is home for both of us." As evening approached, they returned to the homestead. Marcus lit a small fire outside, and they sat together, watching the soft glow of the twin moons rise over the valley. The air was calm, and the distant sounds of the forest created a soothing melody. "I think this is the best life," Marcus said quietly. "A life where we can work, learn, and share our days. A life where challenges are easier because we face them together." Serena nodded. "This is a new beginning. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to connect, and to live fully. We will face storms, obstacles, and surprises, but together we will succeed." Marcus looked at her, gratitude and admiration in his eyes. "I never thought I could feel this alive again. You have brought light to my days and hope to my nights. With you, I feel ready for anything." Serena reached out and gently touched his hand. "And I feel the same, Marcus. Life is better shared. We will build a future together, learning, caring, and enjoying every moment." The night settled over the homestead, quiet and serene. Marcus and Serena sat by the fire, talking softly, planning for the days ahead. They spoke of new crops to plant, places to explore, and ways to improve their home. Each plan, each idea, strengthened the bond between them. Before going to bed, Marcus walked through the garden, looking at the plants that had flourished under their care. He thought about the storms they had faced, the predator they had encountered, and the quiet days they had shared. Each experience had brought them closer, teaching them trust, patience, and resilience. Serena joined him, carrying a small lantern. "The garden is thriving, Marcus. Just like us." He smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace. "Yes, it is. And I know it will continue to grow, just as our life together will continue to flourish." They walked back to the house, the glow of the moons lighting their path. Marcus felt a sense of completion, a feeling that he had found what he had been searching for: connection, understanding, and hope. Serena's presence had transformed his quiet life into one filled with purpose and joy. That night, as Marcus lay in bed, he reflected on the journey they had taken together. From the first meal Serena had prepared to the storms they had faced and the moments of quiet joy under the moons, he realized how much life had changed. He felt gratitude, hope, and excitement for the future. Serena rested beside him, her hand lightly touching his. Marcus felt a calm warmth. He knew that together they could face anything, build anything, and enjoy life fully. The past loneliness had faded, replaced by a life rich with connection, learning, and shared dreams. Viralaya, with its strange skies, glowing moons, and vibrant landscapes, had become a home full of hope. Marcus and Serena had turned it into a place of life, growth, and companionship. Every sunrise brought new possibilities, and every evening reminded them of the journey they had shared. As they drifted into sleep, Marcus felt a quiet certainty. Life was no longer a path he walked alone. With Serena by his side, every day was a chance to learn, to care, and to live fully. Their partnership, born from curiosity and kindness, had blossomed into something stronger, warmer, and enduring. And in the gentle light of Viralaya's moons, Marcus knew that this was only the beginning. A new life awaited, full of adventure, understanding, and the quiet joy of shared days. Together, they would face every sunrise, every challenge, and every quiet moment, building a life that was rich, meaningful, and full of hope.